What's up guys, TommieBAcademy here, and in today's video, we are at summer camp and I am teaching the crew on how to do butters.
Let's go! Let's go!
The very first step that we're gonna dive into is understanding what a butter is. A butter essentially is when you're able to put more weight over one foot and that your other foot is essentially getting in the air. So we're gonna do a variation of like a press, but to make it a butter, we actually wanna make sure that we're doing some kind of pivot or rotation maneuver. So the very first task that I'm gonna do is we're all gonna stand up and we're going to start to understand how the heck do we shift our weight over that board to create a press. Leaning back, I can just do this, or I can put my shoulders, hips, and bend my back leg, and then I lean back. Notice that my board is getting in the air. What's cool about that is I can use my whole body. Now the big challenge of this is trying to find that balance point. What happens if my belly button goes too far past my tail? Any thoughts?
Slide out.
We slide out. Oh, we're going, oh boy. So, we are having to, within our press, we're having to find the balance of what is enough to make sure our board is in the air and what is not too much. We're gonna stand up, we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of space, and we're gonna start to find where is that balance point. Now, I highly recommend that instead of being tall and leaning, that we get small and lean. The reason why we want to do that is so we can maximize our balance by lowering our center of mass. Sounds kind of sick, right? On that note, let's give ourselves a little bit of space. We're gonna stay on our heel side edge, and we're gonna do this. I'm gonna shift to the side, try to find that balance point, figure that out, and then go to the other side. Now I'm gonna rock back and forth slowly and in control to get that press. Hey. Yes, I love how you sank down. Fantastic. On your own, I want you guys to go from the nose, hold it for 1,1002, go to the tail, 1,1002, and let's shift back a couple times and find that balance point of getting the press without falling over. Now what's cool about this exercise is you're able to identify how your board flexes, how far can you go without going too far. So I highly recommend that you go over your nose of your board and hold it for a 2 count, and then shift your weight over your tail, hold that for a 2 count, and see if you can really find that balance position without going too far. Now, the coolest thing about this one is you can actually do this at your house. You don't need to be on snow, so you can practice it the day before you go snowboard, practice it in the lodge, or practice it on the hill like we are. Now, the next step that we're gonna dive into, guys, is actually doing this while creating some kind of momentum. So we're gonna keep this simple at first, is we're gonna do a side slip, and I'm gonna shift my weight over my nose in that same position as you are in now, and hold that for 1,1002. And then I'm gonna get back to neutral. I'm gonna go to my tail, 1,1002. What we're gonna do is start to understand where our edges are. If I keep that edge too flat, what happens? Catch an edge. John knows you catch an edge. Now, if we go too much, we slow down. We need to find that balance point once again. One thing that I noticed that a lot of you guys were doing is instead of getting low, shifting your weight over the tail, specifically for you two, instead of getting low, shifting your weight over the tail, you were just trying to retract your lead knee. It's almost like you're trying to do a bicycle wheelie by pulling up the handlebars versus just leaning so far back on the bike that eventually it goes up. So your lead shoulder is trying to be here, and you're like trying to like do this. No, so you do this. Notice as I stand here, my board's not going up. What happens if I get my shoulders to be even and I start to get low until I sink so much of my center of mass and my outside hip over my tail that the board rises? I can hold this for about 6 months if my legs weren't so weak, but if I start to do this and wheelie, it comes down, it comes down. So for you guys, get low and then see how far you can get your belly button out towards your tail without going too far. Enjoying the content, but you feel like you're stuck or you need me to help you become more awesome, come join summer camp where you get coached by me, my awesome coaches. We hit airbags and we do all sorts of awesome stuff. Check out the link in the description below for availability, dates, information on how you get to get coached by me. The very next step that we have is we're actually gonna start with a little bit more momentum, and we're gonna point our board down the fall line and then we're gonna do a small turn, and then we're either gonna be on our nose or our tail. So based on that previous activity, you know which one feels way easier, whether it's your lead foot or your back foot. So we're gonna go point our board straight down the hill. We're going to get on, or we're gonna go on our heels, rotate. We're either gonna press our nose or our tail, and then try to finish with a 90 out. So we're actually gonna complete a full 180, but in the middle, we're gonna be doing that press maneuver until we go back to our switch directions. That make sense? The other cool thing about this butter is it works on your board slides. I can go from straight, get into a board side maneuver, and then ride switch. This helps us train getting over 1 foot to do a board slide. So even though it's a butter, I'm tricking you and training your body to do a trick somewhere else. It's kind of a 2 for 1. Cool. So one thing that I did see is that we're trying to force that first 180 so much that we're getting our shoulders and stuff super twisted. So be willing to do a 180 on the ground and then get into that tail press, or be willing to throw the shoulders a little bit more to make that 180 a little bit easier. And as you're doing any of these butters, one of the most important things to do is make sure your downhill edge does not catch, because that doesn't make for a good day. So make sure you're keeping your board up so you don't catch an edge. It makes life way better. The very first variation that we had is really building your edge awareness, your body awareness, to be able to shift either way. Now the next exercise we're gonna get into is by changing, instead of pressing across the fall line, we're gonna press down the fall line and being able to accumulate a little speed. So I wanna be able to do a 180, tail press, and 180 out. And eventually what I'm gonna build up to is that first 180 is in a tail press or nose press. Then I hold the press again, and then I keep the press going to actually do a full 360 press. But for now, we're gonna break it into simple steps, which is 180, press, 180. Or you can definitely do this at home on the carpet, on a tire, or on the mountain. Let's give it a shot. Now the ultimate goal is to do a butter or a press for an entire 360. A lot of times when we're trying to do this rotation, our shoulders get stacked and our eyes get down, and then we stop our momentum. So as I illustrated or discussed this morning, was that sometimes we need our shoulders and our eyes to be separated. So for me, I'm going in this clockwise direction. That means that lead shoulder in that direction I'm going needs to be turning, and my eyes need to be looking in the same direction. Because what if I'm trying to go that way and my shoulder's going that way? I get lost in the middle. Shoulder. Hey Matt, do you mind getting some shots of these guys, getting some attempts in? Now, some of this stuff is definitely very technical. There's a lot that's going on, which is managing where you are in time and space, and then your relation to your board angle with the snow, so you don't catch an edge, just like I did and some of us have, is being able to find that fine motor skill. Little things that help is understanding where's my belly button, low and outside, and then keeping my spine up, balance, and then shoulders looking and eyes looking is rotation. So each body part has a specific task that has a specific outcome. If I start missing some of those tasks, those outcomes, those body positions, then I don't get the desired outcome that I'm desiring. So I gotta do a lot of things to get something right. And that's why starting simple with just pressing our board and then making our way downhill to be able to add challenges, which formulates us doing a full 360 and then some for a press. So when it comes to butters, there are so many different variations, and you can use butters to help trick your mind and your body to do some really cool things. So definitely try these butters. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, because on this channel, we get super nerdy and we're trying to make you as awesome as possible. So on that note, guys, we out.